Are you ready to take control of your future? All-In CDO Training is more than just a driving school. We're your partner in achieving financial independence. Overcoming test anxiety? Struggling with self-doubt? We're here to help. Our expert instructors provide personalized support to guide you through the entire process. With flexible hours and online courses, we'll get you behind the wheel in as little as 3 months. It's time to turn your passion into a rewarding career. All-In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving.
Dominate every matchup, period. This should be the mindset of every competitor in both team and individual sports and in life. Each day we wake up, regardless of the task, regardless of what we're facing, we gotta decide whether we're gonna dominate or be dominated, period. There is no in between. We believe whoever wears our gear embodies that D.E.M mindset. Dominate every matchup, period. The question is, which side will you be on?
He ain't never slumber, never put him to the test. He be reigning king forever, resurrected after death. All praise to God, brother, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, all praise to the one.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. I told you. In August, it is the 11th day of February 2025 and a wonderful Tuesday. The Birds are the 2024 NFL Super Bowl champions. I got the $2 bills on the wall. 3 $2 bills. I'm not sure who bet me, but $2 bills are mine. I was collecting push-ups today at the job. I had my students doing push-ups. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagle push-ups. I had one of my students sing the fight song. It's Receipts Tuesday. Or should I say Receipts Tuesday? Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's your friendly neighborhood Eagles fan, AC of AC Sports Live. You're in the building, I'm in the building, and they're trying to recover from all the celebration. I wish I was in Philadelphia to go to the parade. It's going to be mayhem. It's going to be kind mayhem. Some cars might get destroyed. Some street signs might come down. But that's how we do it in Philadelphia. Get yourself a cheesesteak, and enjoy the chaos. Dr. Frazier's in here. I appreciate that. Congrats. Rubio Method is in here. I scrolled by and I saw the Decade Show. I didn't know whether to stop or run. I saw my main man Tony Syracuse on there. I hope he had a good perspective on whatever you guys were talking about. It didn't look like a place for a black man. it looked like you guys were having a discussion on why we didn't like the halftime show at the Super Bowl. It didn't look very brother friendly. I have to watch the episode and see what you guys are talking about. AC2's up in here. Talk about him a little bit later. Everyone's asking, where is he going? Where's he going? We'll see if he wants to share that on the AC Sports Live show. It's not a secret. Check his Twitter. He's joining Deshaun Jackson and Travis Clark at Delaware State in Dover, Delaware, about an hour and some change from Philadelphia. So next year I will be at the link catching a few games after my son plays his game on the Saturday to stay in town and catch the Birds. So Uncle Chuck, we're coming east. Oh my goodness. one of my first viewers from when we started in the pandemic. Anna is back. She says, congrats, young man. Her nephew is Carter Stoudemire with the Colorado Buffaloes, and he's having the time of his life. I believe he's the player rep for the Buffs, and he has aspirations of not only playing in the league but being a big man in the industry of his choice. Well-rounded, as all of our kids are. The Stoudemires raised their boy and their girl. My wife and I raised our girl and our boy. Very similar stories. HBCUs to PWIs. It's all part of their process. Everybody's process is different. The Queenie Lane is in here. Also one of our first listeners and watchers. Todd Prunty's in here. One of my very first pandemic friends I made, and he's still with me. We on top, baby. You better believe it, Big Todd. I think we're going to be here for a minute. Hey, that's the topic of discussion today. How many free agents do we have, and who do we must bring back? Who must come back? Some of these guys are going to get paid. And I can't be mad. We just lost our OC, who is now the head coach. So congrats to Kellen Moore. Thank you for your service, sir. One and done. Not mad. I'll be at the parade on Friday. Wow. In Virginia Beach right now, visiting family. Must be nice. But that just shows you how close all those eastern cities are. If he's in Virginia, he's going to be in Philly tomorrow, Broad Street. If we're going to be in Delaware, Dover, Delaware, we're going to be up the street. Stop off, get me a couple steaks. Great parenting? Is it great? Or just common sense? Being there, being present. I'll take great. I'll take great while you're saying great. Well-rounded kids, man, I wouldn't have it any other way. It ain't always been how the storybook reads. You have some bumps and bruises along the way, but I think it's going to make them well-rounded people. All right, man, the Super Bowl. I try to tell y'all, man, -17, Eagles. Then I said, all right, -8. There's no way on paper that this team was going to beat the Eagles. And it was evident. They weren't even in the same bracket. Patrick Mahomes couldn't be Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles defense, man, until they let them score at the end as they were allowing the over-under and point spread thing happen. It was a D.E.M, a dominate every matchup, period, game. And if you weren't an Eagles fan, but you were pulling for the Eagles, you enjoyed seeing the Chiefs get knocked down to reality. I want to see a trilogy. I wouldn't mind seeing it one more time. And I knew it would be a bit more competitive than it was. Because after a while, I started feeling bad. Like, let them score, man. I wanted to shut out, but I didn't want to shut out, if that makes any sense. So I said, as long as Coach Fangio is still around, we'll be fine. I don't think he's going anywhere. He just beat Mahomes for the first time, his first Super Bowl, and he got a bunch of young dogs. We got to sign Zach Bond. That's all I'm saying. Out of our free agents, we got a few. Kenneth Gainwell's a free agent. Owen Burks, a backup linebacker, is a free agent. Isaiah Rodgers, a backup corner, is a free agent. Now, Zach Bond is a starter, one of the top 5 defensive players of the year. Should have been defensive player of the year. Josh Sweat is a free agent. I kind of want Zach Bond and Josh Sweat to come back. However, we can replace Josh Sweat with Myles Garrett or Abdul, the kid from Penn State. Abdul Muhammad, I believe that's his name. I think that's his name. If not, correct me. But the kid from Penn State who wants to be an Eagle. Milton Williams, who had him a great Super Bowl with 2 sacks. Mekhi Becton, our offensive lineman, who turned his whole life around from playing tackle his whole career and then being traded for a stick of gum, becomes I don't know if he was all pro right guard, but he was knocking dudes out the box, literally, in the Fred Johnson O-line. Of those 2, 4, 6, 8 free agents, I think Zach Bond must come back. The leader of the defense, the voice. Maybe not have been the best player, but he had the best season. Undersized middle backer, but hey, he had an incredible season. Made an interception in the Super Bowl, which was a huge play. It's a story of big plays. Malik Richardson, I'm a fan of the channel. Do you engage in BDSM? Been experimenting with it. My wife, any tips? BDSM, please clarify what that is. I probably know what it is. I'm just not thinking right now. The Queen says, not me. I love to beat down. Well, you heard Patrick Mahomes said 3-peat. It's happening. Did he say book it? He said something about the 3-peat. And he was super confident. They even asked Pat Riley, can they use the term 3-peat once we win? Well, right now, a shipment of Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs t-shirts are being sent to a underserved country somewhere far, far away. Do I like? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mr. Malik. Went over KC starting lineups, both sides. No way those cats would put a dent in Philly. Okay, let me look at the plays of the game, the big plays of the game. So we all agreed it was total domination. Those last touchdowns in the fourth quarter were meaningless. Stat patterns. Again, stats lie, people lie. What did you see? I saw an utter beatdown. No way around it. They could have shut them out if they wanted to. The backups were in. The 2 DBs that got beat deep, I don't even know their names, but they got took to the crib. Means that they got garbage time and they got in there and got beat. Hey, I got beat in the Super Bowl. So the big plays of the game for me, the biggest play to me was 17-0. What was it? 10-0. When Cooper DeJean, or Cooper DeJean, depending on if you're from Philly. If he's a John, Cooper DeJean got the pick 6. That was the play of the game. Because the pre-game script, my wife showed me a script. Somebody had leaked the script of what should happen. The Chiefs will be down 2 scores at halftime. Travis Kelce will give a fiery speech at halftime that would inspire the Chiefs to come back, fueling Patrick Mahomes to once again bring the Chiefs back with an epic comeback, giving the Chiefs their 3-peat. Well, Cooper DeJean didn't get the memo, and what looked like a possible drive, scoring drive, turned into a 14-point swing. Because shortly thereafter, Zach Bond got his pick. So a pick 6, rattled quarterback, throws another pick, and we punch it in and we go up 24-0 at half. I don't know. That right there, hear me out. That might have been it. 28-3, Tom Brady versus the Falcons. Many moons ago. Came to mind. But then I looked at that defense once again. Who in this defense is going to give up that many points. Like, the defense was too stout. Both defensive lines. And Nolan Smith didn't even have his best game. Josh Sweat had 2.5 sacks. He was almost the MVP until Jalen Hurts got busy. The MVP, the one with all the hatred. The receipts that are being brought back up. Super Bowl receipts. Nick Wright, who is a Chiefs fan because he was born there, which is okay. Chase Daniels, super hater, former quarterback. Joe DeCamara, Dan Orlovsky, Colin Cowherd, Spike Eskin, Chris Broussard, loud talking Chris Broussard, Paul Pierce, The Truth, Mike Greenberg, Greeny, come on Greeny, Mina Kimes, Laura Rutledge, Tom Kelly, and good old Cam Newton. Didn't believe. Now look at you. Just lets me kind of understand and better understand and really, really believe that these experts aren't really experts. This just opinions. Everybody has an opinion. Ty said, gotta get Zach Bond back. Got to, man. That dude just scratched the surface. Hope they find a way for Becton as well. I think the way the Eagles resurrected his career, they might be able to get him on a discount. Because if they try to put him back at tackle on a different team, he may not have the same success. This O-line was such a well-oiled machine, it made Mekhi Becton look like an all-pro. Sometimes situations and schemes just fit you. Linemen like to block for running backs that run through the hole, that put the foot in the ground and hit it. That allows the lineman to be super aggressive. Every lineman that I've ever known love to run block way more than they like to pass block. Because run block, you know where you're going and you get to hit people instead of catch people. They almost dislike pass blocking. Now this group seemed like they enjoyed it a little bit because they did it so well. But I'm pretty sure Mekhi Becton looked as good as he looked because Saquon Barkley had the season that he had. So I wouldn't put it past him that he stays for a little less money than he might get on the free agent market. And I think the Eagles will take care of him. Him and Zach Bond. Me and Mac, we might have to do a show, Mac. We might have to dissect this halftime performance because it's not for the weak. Those who hated it identified themselves. And we'll talk about that in a minute as I kind of talk about everything that you missed if you say this was the worst halftime performance of all time. I think it's top 5 all time. Ty said might have to let Kenny G go since we have young Shipley. Yeah, I like Kenny Gainwell, man. But we got that number 26. We just need somebody to relieve him for about 5 carries. And that dude could be Shipley or it could be one of these rookies. It was a 10-0 at that point on that pick 6. So that was the script was unfolding. You were supposed to go down there and get a field goal or a touchdown, and then we'll score again and be up 2 tubs at halftime. That was the script. I agree with you. That play ignited the beatdown, asking with the sacks. Yeah, I mean, I'm going over some pass rush stuff with my son, and we're talking about how long it takes for a quarterback to get the snap and to set up and throw. And the quarterback has approximately 2.5 seconds to make a decision and throw the football unless he has an outstanding offensive line who gives him 4 seconds. Even after that, he's going to be running around. Patrick Mahomes' first read was taken away each time. And after that first read was taken away, the pass rush was methodical, coming up the field, but not too far up the field. And then Jalen Carter and our other defensive tackle, I keep forgetting his name, but he had a great game. I was going to say Milton. What's his name? Milton Williams. Had outstanding games. And it was undeniably the difference in that we didn't have to blitz to get to him. The front four got to him. So it was just a thing of beauty, man. Vic Fangio said not this time. And I loved it, man. I loved it. Ty said unsung hero play. Avonte Maddox filling in for DeJohn on the slot and breaking up the pass on 4th and 4. Huge play. He almost got a pick 6. That's some stuff you teach your kids. If you have the flat, you have to have the awareness to see the quarterback. You don't have man-to-man. You match up the routes to what you saw in film that week. And you get to the spot of where the ball is throwing and the angle. You're running to the angle. You're not running to the player running the route. The quarterback is what? 7 yards deep from the line of scrimmage, and the numbers of a 5-yard hitch or a 5-yard out, the angle from that to the sideline. You being 5 to 6 yards past the line of scrimmage, you could undercut the quick out pass if you have the courage and the preparation to get there. If Avonte Maddox was 1 inch taller with longer arms, this a pick 6. He still made an outstanding play. Another one of my favorite plays that was made that might not go as noticed as Cooper DeJohn's pick 6, but definitely a big play. The Chiefs don't get turned away on 4th and 5. They typically run an option route and get the first down. Every time. Roop says Mel Kiper proves every year that the experts don't know a thing. That guy hasn't been correct since Nam. Oh, that's dirty. Mel Kiper's made a living off being wrong. He's very good at being wrong. And Anna agrees. Definitely top 5 halftime performance. SG trilogy in here. I appreciate that. Dr. Davis Sr. Mahomes wasn't Mahomes because that pass rush was on his head. And the exciting whites, along with Zach Bond, played underneath Travis Kelce. I want to see the secondary play throughout the game. They only showed us a couple plays of the secondary and how they played Kelce and Juju. Like his quick hit side adjustments were not there. And you can see the frustration on his face. So now you're relying on Hopkins and Worthy. Now, Worthy had a great game if you want to count those stats. Those stats came in garbage time. But if you want to count it, you can. He had 2 touchdowns, 8 catches for 157. He had a good game on paper. But by that time, Mahomes done been stretched out every which way but loose. Now, I do believe the referees were Tom Brady's dudes. Because the first call, pass interference on A.J. Brown, was questionable, but I wasn't as mad because he did push him in the face mask. It did cause just enough separation for him to be overly open. He didn't need to push him. He was open. I think his reflection of hand fighting is get off me, not to push him, but get off me, catch the ball. They had a makeup call, I think the next series for the Eagles. But you fast forward to the play where Patrick Mahomes fumbled the football as he was stretched one left, stretched the other way, and Jalen Carter mashed him in the face. That's hand to the face is an easy call. It did not call it. I'm sure Tom Brady was in the booth smiling because this was Tom Brady's officiating crew. I already know it. I'm going to do the research. I promise you, this is the same crew with the tuck rule. They're still alive. They still making plays. They still calling plays for Tom Brady. Oh, man. So now, Jalen Hurts. Is he now the prototype? Can Jalen Hurts get some elite love? Or is it because his team was just so good that he was the beneficiary of a stacked team? He's been dealing with being doubted almost his whole career since Bama, being benched for Tua Tagovailoa, having to transfer to Oklahoma. I think it was a blessing in disguise because he would not have been an NFL prospect out of Alabama. The way Nick Saban used him or didn't use him, he was very average at Bama. That's how you lose your job. But he went to Oklahoma, became a Heisman Trophy candidate, and the rest is history. The man has been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. He's already arguably the best Eagles quarterback of all time with 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 win. And I love Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick and Rodney Peete. Ron Jaworski. He got to the Super Bowl once and lost to the Raiders. McNabb got to the Super Bowl and tapped out versus the Patriots. Randall Cunningham never made it to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has done it twice. And this team is good enough if they get the right OC. This team, as young as it is, the Georgia Eagles on the defensive side, if we get Myles Garrett or Abdul Carter from Penn State, I think that's his name. I messed his name up earlier. Abdul Carter, we got a chance. I don't want to be like Patrick Mahomes and guarantee no three-peat, but I'm thinking this team gonna be good for a couple more years before everybody has to get paid. They already paid Jalen Hurts. They just paid Saquon. Lane Johnson might retire. That might be a huge hit, but we got Jordan Mailata for a few more years. Because everybody's playing to get the big payday so they can go ahead and retire right up into the sunset. But I still believe this team has the juice. Because remember, we were ahead of schedule 2 years ago. And now, fast forward, we're here and we look prime to do something next year. Jalen played with composure and the defense was intense all night. I think we don't take into account the composure and maturity and poise of Jalen Hurts. All the measurables, all the statistics. Yes, Josh Allen won the MVP. But would Josh Allen lead this team to a Super Bowl? Dealing with A.J. Brown's diva antics, being able to handle that as a man. Because remember, Josh Allen had Stephon Diggs. At that time, Stephon Diggs might have been a top 5 receiver in the league. Now Josh Allen is doing what he's doing with, pretty good talent. Putting him on a super team like the Eagles, you would think it'd be an automatic home run. And it's not always so. It takes a personality. It takes trust. It takes belief. It takes the teammates to say, that's my quarterback. We can act as wild as we want to, but I know that dude right there is going to be calm under pressure. And that dude's going to show up in the big games. He's not afraid of the big games. That's the difference between Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson might be 2 or 3 times more talented than Jalen Hurts physically But between the ears, Jalen Hurts was raised by his daddy. His coach was his daddy. So he was groomed. I remember Coach Prime got in some trouble for saying, I want my quarterbacks to have both parents in the home. And that was a generalization that seems racist or placist. Some said outright, he shouldn't have said that. Well, we live in a time where you can't say the truth because the truth seems a little harsh and a little judgmental and closed-minded. But if you're coaching college football and you only have 1 year to win, you limit your amount of risk by going for what you believe to be true. Who is going to be calm under pressure? Who is going to be composed and say the right things when the microphone's in their face? Who's going to block out all the hatred and animosity, especially being a black quarterback in today's climate of society? You have to handle it like a man. And again, I love Lamar Jackson. He has to get out of his own way when it comes to the moment because he has the talent and the skill set and the mind to win the Super Bowl. He just hasn't found that glow just yet. He hasn't found that je ne sais quoi or whatever it might be. Mentally, physically, all year long, dominating. Yardage, pass yardage, running the ball, protecting the football, no interceptions. All that stuff is great. How do you perform in the big games? Who's the most clutch quarterback playing right now? I think that number one in Green has proven what he brings to the table that most quarterbacks don't have. The pressure of playing in Philadelphia? What? When they want you gone if you lose a game. It ain't easy. Ask Ben Simmons. How was it to play in Philly? Ask Joel Embiid how's it going in Philly. It's not easy. It's not. Todd said Jalen's transfer to OU was a blessing. It very much was. He was going to be forgotten about had he stayed at Bama. Because they threw him away. Queen said they will run it back for show. Ain't nothing for show. I'm not sure if I'm picking Saquon Barkley in my fantasy league because it's too good to be true. 2 years in a row for a back with that kind of usage, that's going to be rough. We stay healthy, it's definitely possible. But this is the most injury-prone sport there is. Lane Johnson said he was coming back, win or lose. Church. The big fella's coming back. KC Mark in the house, we flying, baby. That composure is such an underrated part of his game. People got mad because he didn't get riled up. Where's his passion? Why is he still calm? What? I need to see him a little bit more angry about. Man, he has the it factor that we can't measure. Is he the best quarterback in the league? I think it's still Patrick Mahomes because he has 3 Super Bowls, or is it 4? 2 in a row, whatever. He has a crazy stat line with how many Super Bowls he's been to and how many he's won. But now he has 2 losses, so he's becoming LeBron James real quick. We're going to have a discussion about Jalen being a big game quarterback. He's clutch, man. We had this clutch conversation on 1585 show, me and Mac, talking about clutch for about 3 weeks. We were saying how Steph Curry hasn't proven he's clutch. A come from behind shot to bring you closer is not enough pressure. Playing in Golden State is not constant pressure. Playing in Philly, in the NFC East, constant. Every game. Jalen has figured out how to slow the game down. Well, all these quarterbacks are geniuses, man. When you hear the play calls and the things that these guys have to memorize, it's really remarkable. Even hearing Cam Newton make calls in his retirement just to kind of show you what a play call sounds like. You got to say the position of the ball, left, right, or the position of the formation, left, right. You got to say what the formation is. You got to say whether or not it's going to be pass blocking or run blocking. What type of blocking is it going to be? What type of motion is it going to be? What type of option route is going to be for the inside receivers? And what are the outside routes going to be? Unless it's a combination route and it has a name. Each route has to be named off. Y, curl. F, stop. Z, post. X, dig. On two, ready, break. And it's crazy. They got to come off the top at the NFL meetings and say the play that they rip off to them without them even knowing the playbook. And they better not be rattled by the number of words they have to memorize. It's a different thing. Like, the hardest position to play in football is quarterback. And depending on your OC, it can make it a lot easier for them or a lot more hard. I think when Brian Dable was trying to get, Jaden Daniels flustered, and Jaden Daniels ripped off the play call, and he was like, whoa. So I said Lamar had an amazing season. Yeah, absolutely. QB1 is that clutch QB. And I think that's what he's going to be labeled, clutch. Under pressure, Jalen has the perfect temperament to play in Philly. He ain't tripping off nothing. He was given the name Bum Simmons during his time in Philly. Bum. And he got up out of there. Sha-Shon Barkley played at Penn State. Sha-Shon Barkley is going to be given the key to the city. If he has half the season he had this year. Hopefully, with the development of the passing game, they won't rely as much on Saquon. I think that's our identity. A bully offensive line and ball control. And a defense that does not have to blitz to get pressure. That's a recipe for playoffs, NFC championships, and a chance to win the Super Bowl. Because think about it, who runs the football besides the Eagles and the Ravens at a high level? Everybody else just runs because it's a fancy way to get the defense to play honest, but we're trying to get 200 yards on the ground and have the ball last. So I understand the passing game is there. I think the Eagles know it's there, and Jalen Hurts understands it. He don't have to throw for 300 yards to win. I think it's amazing, man. No, not clutch. Oh, the Queen was there for the clutch conversations. We had long discussions about the clutch. I'm studying the clutch. I'm studying the zone. I'm going to enter a doctorate program, and I'm going to study performance and see how do you develop the clutch gene. If you don't have it, how do you develop it? Or are you just born with it? And that goes along with being in the zone. How do you get to that place where you can't miss? When did I realize the game was over? Me, Avonte Maddox breaking up the ensuing touchdown to Smitty. That was a dagger. There were a few daggers, man. I want to think Zach Bond's interception. Because after Cooper DeJean got the pick six, I thought that was the one mistake that Patrick Mahomes was going to make the rest of the night. Just like Jalen Hurts throwing that one pick. That's the one mistake he made. Get it out your system early. But then when he throw the dink dunk across the middle when he got hit while he threw it, but he got hit. No excuse. You threw it. It got picked off. At that point, I think it's pretty much over, man. Because you don't have enough time to throw a dink dunk. When are you going to have time? I mean, he got one in garbage time. But it was over with, man. I got Ivan here. Love to run the rock. And it's a recipe for ball control, dominance, bully. The refs were decent. They missed a couple calls in the Chiefs' favor. That last sack fumble should have been hands to the face, first down Chiefs. I will give you that. But at that point, I don't think it even mattered. We were up by so much. But those refs seemed like they were sticking it to Patrick Mahomes because he was getting destroyed. And they didn't call not one roughing the passer. Whereas weeks past, he would get roughing the passer for getting bumped into. So I loved it, man. All right, so now Sha-Shon didn't get the yardage that we thought he would get. He messed up my prize picks. It's okay. I still love him. He still got us here. It took every single Chief to stop Sha-Shon Barkley, which allowed Jalen Hurts to have the game that he had. Now, the halftime performance. Let's get into that real quick. This might take the rest of the show. We might have to just push the rest till next week. The Lakers got Luka Doncic, and Dalton Knecht came back in a rejected trade. And now Ben Simmons is a Clipper. Is that news? I think it's news. How's this guy still in the league? Got him up out of Philly. He's still playing? I'm going to stall him out, man. Ben Simmons, LA ain't going to be that nice either, man. Got to play. I saw the Lakers play last night. They won by like 100, and LeBron was still in the game. I said, LeBron in his stat pad. My prize pick, I had Luka under 27 points. He scored 11. I made my parlay. Thank you for not trying to force it, Luka. You were up by 50. What are you doing in the game? Elaine said we could go on tour doing TED Talks on clutch. That will be something, because everybody has an opinion of what clutch is. All right, so Kendrick Lamar put on a performance for the ages, and it went over majority of the viewers' heads, and that majority number was huge. Reports have come out that the numbers of viewers was 133.5 million. That charted, and the new tour with SZA on Monday night has also added nearly 35 million views on the NFL's official YouTube channel. So it was seen by a lot of people. Definitely crazy, scary, spooky, and hilarious. It was a little bit of everything for everybody if you so choose to pay attention. So just briefly, and I hope I can cause you to go watch it again if you're saying it was terrible. I still got Prince as the best performance of all time, followed by Michael Jackson, followed by Beyonce, followed by U2 after September 11th. Kendrick's messaging was not about Drake. That's first and foremost, man. We got to stop being surface thinkers, surface viewers, surface consumers. Obviously, Drake was one of the topics of the performance, but he was just the symbolic representation of what Kendrick was trying to convey. The whole performance was a protest, a entertaining, music-filled protest. He challenged the system. He set up a pretend PlayStation game, which was set up by Uncle Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam. And the system wants us to be inside, not outside, causing ruckus. We want you to be cultured and calm and non-threatening. It was about the exploitation of our talents, the exploitation of our people, the industry and how it uses pawns versus the disruptors. And in this case, once you give someone that platform, Kendrick becomes the disruptor, whereas Drake is the symbolic version of the pawn. They could have easily had Lil Wayne or Cash Money Records as a whole perform in the New Orleans Super Bowl. They picked Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Jay-Z and the NFL for allowing him to do this eye-opening plea to challenge this system that is trying to control the economics, the politics, the placism, and the racism that we see around us and distract us with all this other stuff. The game that's being played, a lot of brothers and sisters, and even America, white America, don't realize the game that is being played. It's a game being played by Uncle Sam, which represents the government. So are you playing chess or are you playing checkers? Either way, the game is over. It was an excellent performance. You're either a king or a queen or a pawn. The Drake beef was just a symbolic version of the game being played. You a do-boy, an industry do-boy, or an industry revolutionary. I grew up on Public Enemy and X-Clan and Poor Righteous Teachers and Conscious Rappers, Conscious KRS-One, all the guys who would be our street reporters, even NWA to a certain degree. When you were told not to do something, so he was not supposed to perform, not like us. So he went against what he was told not to do, performed it anyway, and the NFL okayed it. So now the NFL is part of the class action suit versus Kendrick Lamar. I think it was brilliant. These stabs and jabs at Drake with his former girlfriends, Serena Williams, the best tennis player of all time, walking till they not like us, because Drake had the gall and the audacity to put Serena in his lyrics after their breakup. So this was a kind gesture by Kendrick to allow her to get her walk on. And SZA, being a former date, former boo, former off and on of Drake as well, sang two of her hits that were with the Black Panther soundtrack and the recent stuff. So they got some get back, and it was all done in a red, white, and blue. The all white dudes represented the Klan. The red, white, and blue represented the country we live in. And then the guys in the blue jeans and the white tops were the prison inmates. So it was a lot. Go back and watch it again. See if you can pick up on the little small messages that were being shared. A Country Divided was the part where you had the guys on one side of the field and the guys on the other side of the field. It was brilliant, man. It was well thought out, and it was done in the time frame that he was allowed. Got a lot of songs out and punched some people in the mouth, and other people turned the channel. So you kind of identify yourself when you say it was terrible. That means you just didn't know what you're looking at. And that's happened a lot. I think, what was it, The Weeknd had a performance like that a few years ago, and it's about self-image, and everybody was kind of about toilet paper and diapers and stuff. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. He's expressing himself about what he thinks bothering him, what's bothering him about society. Music can be very eye-opening, and it can open your eyes to social issues that may not be talked about, or you're not allowed to talk about it despite having free speech. So watch it again, and now watch it with an objective eye and see if you like it any better. You don't have to like Kendrick Lamar, but you have to like that he's trying to emphasize the need for everyone to be considered American. We're all here. We're all valuable. We all deserve equality and equity and inclusion. We all deserve to be heard. We all deserve to be seen. And in the meantime, with some nice jazzy tunes on the side, I think it was a recipe for success. I loved it. And it is Black History Month, so I think it's appropriate we shout out some monumental moments in Black history. Let me see if I brought that picture in. There was Autumn Lockwood is the first Black woman to coach and win a Super Bowl ring. I think that is awesome. Shout out to Autumn Lockwood. Autumn Lockwood. Remember that. Anna said the performance was brilliant. Queen said you picked the wrong guy. If you follow Kendrick Lamar's career, he's always been one who challenges the status quo. We know lyrically he's a monster, but that brain of his, whether it's his brain or some evil spirits, whatever it might be, that brother got a skill set that you don't want to mess with. Anna says control. Sauce in here. Yo. Dwight said amen. The rhythm, the rebel. The rhythm, the rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level. The hard rhymer. You want styling? You know it's time to get D. Kurtz, Ife said, thank you for that explanation because I had no idea. Oh yeah, Ife. Go watch it again. I hope the president watches it again. If he cares to make things better, just like Roger Goodell is trying his best to understand the cultures that he has control over. If 75% of the NFL is African American, Roger Goodell has to make it so that these people that he has to work with that make his paycheck look fat, it has to be equitable, man. You have to see people. You have to hear people. And Anna is cool with it. Rodney Saw said, glad that they went with Kendrick. This was not the time to entertain only. It was definitely the time to send a message. I don't think any of the popular New Orleans rappers would have accomplished that. I lived in New Orleans when I played for the Saints, and I dug the music. I was vibing with that Juvenile. I was vibing with the Cash Money Bling Bling. But it did not make me a smarter individual. It did not make me conscious of what's happening around me. It just made me afraid of the Ninth Ward. It just said, don't come in the Ninth Ward when it's dark. You the one with all them jeans, huh? You the one with them Gerbo jeans, huh? You was hard to breathe, huh? A Cash Money reunion would have been cool, but we would not have got educated on anything. We would just bobbed our heads. The problem with that is the music is 25 years old. So if you bring out some Lil Wayne and some new stuff, it wouldn't have cut it. It would have just been some noise. I mean, I saw this last performance by Lil Wayne. Everybody's like, yeah, yeah, they made the right decision. You can't go from Snoop and 50 Cent and Dre to Lil Wayne, and he up there talking about like whatever he says. Facts, says Anna. D-Mac Fi in here. You know, the complaints about the halftime show are something else. Oh, it's very identifying. I'm trying to find out who is who. The MAGA folks despise it, saying it was the worst of all time. People who are Drake fans thought it was the worst thing they've ever seen in their life. Blacks who voted for Trump seem to think it was inappropriate. People who don't like to hear about revolution or Black history didn't particularly like the performance. Those who like to remain ignorant didn't like the performance. So if this is you, That's why you didn't like the performance. You like to hear what you like to hear. The same people who are mad at Beyonce for winning Best Country Album, that's the people that didn't like the that's the same demographic. It's just what it is, man. It's not racist to call out racism. I don't think. Because I'm not. I have love for all people. But if I have a friend who I think is being racist, I'm going to tell him, hey, man, did you even attempt to listen to what he's saying? Like people who are totally against Farrakhan. Have you listened to him speak? Have you listened to what he's really saying? He might be extreme sometime. I don't attend his mosque or his temple. I'm not part of the Nation of Islam. But some of the things that he says are on point. So, again, being open to hearing different perspectives will just educate you. You don't have to vibe with it or believe it, internalize it, but you have to, like my good buddy Tim Hood. He says he listens to both sides, and he'll take a side and have a healthy conversation about it. That's how smart people have conversations. Why do you think the way you think? What makes you think that? And you have a healthy conversation where you can educate each other. If at the end of the day, that's way better than arguing. You're not going to convince a grown person what they believe to be true because they've experienced life. But you can let them see your perspective with a healthy conversation. Rubio and I don't agree on much, but we had late night talks about why he believed what he believed, and I let him know why I believe what I believe. And we have those talks to this day. So you got to have that idea that, half this country hated that performance. And you have to ask yourself why. And once you find out why, you have to be like, okay, now I get it. As G said, listen long enough and you'll hear and see who is who. You ain't even got to point them out. You just watch. And sometimes it's your own people. And it said, truth hurts. Have you seen the clip of the black man complaining about the Lift Every Voice being sang? He said there is only one national anthem. Hey, them dudes are coming out the woodworks. They don't want Black History Month. They don't want to hear the Lift Every Voice. They'll get the skin bleached if they could. But they're not going to get accepted. They'll vote you off the island, man. And it's okay to be different. I think some of the ideologies of Marcus Garvey were valid. It's okay to be separate. D-Max said, can't satisfy everyone. If you don't have haters, you're not doing something right. Haters gonna hate. Jealousy and envy are the dumb ones too. That's like Rick. Dr. Frazier said, thank you, my brother, for the explanation of the halftime show. Now, Dr. Frazier is my elder statesman, and my father-in-law, the apostle of our church, I'm sure he too was probably like, what am I looking at? I do see some of the symbols. I'm not sure what they all mean. And that's where us young folks, I'm not young, I'm 51, but I know what's happening because I'm almost the age. Kendrick is what, 40, 37 years old? He's closer to my age than my elder statesman. That's what was happening, Dr. Frazier. He was trying to speak knowledge to the young folks and America as a whole. Gotta have open minds in today's society, says Coach Ife. Listen to and respect both sides. Amen, brother. You have to. There's no room for hatred. The end is near, man. The end is near. All right, man. My tender love. Anthony Davis went to Dallas and got hurt. I don't like to laugh at my man's misfortune, but he was having a monster night. And out of nowhere, for no reason at all, Anthony Davis's body just gave up on him again. Does he need some milk? What's wrong with AD's body? He can't buy a break in a different city. They don't know what it was. They don't know if it was his knee. They don't know if it was his growing. He just started grabbing his little leg area by his groins and his. Now he's out 6 weeks. Dr. Glass is back. So with that being said, the Lakers won the trade because my man is already hurt. I know he can't. I mean, I'm dealing with Embiid in Philly. Embiid, AD, Kawhi Leonard, now Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bro, we need to drink some milk. I know injuries are part of the game, but come on, man. That list is too frequented by AD. All right, man. My neck and my back. Oh, you know how much you can get for a slip and fall in the stove? Man, you need to stop smoking that crack. He said he had cramps. Oh, man, y'all stall him out, man. That is cold-blooded. He lands at 10 to 11 is my favorite. Man, he is back on the 10 to 11 report. He's the king. He was the originator. My neck and my back. AD is the way he gets hurt is funny. He'll go down, grab his ankle, then be out for a month because of his back. I was brought up, if you hurt, get back in there. If you're injured, sit down. I think they all are the same thing to AD. Hey, man, I'm watching a program called Special Forces with Cam Newton. My boy P. Ward put me onto it. It's a must-watch, man. There's some key players on there. Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend's on there, and she wants to do something that's hard to get her mind off of what she's experiencing with her hater nation of Swifties coming after her because she's the ex. I'm like, how does that work? She's just not trying to get back at Travis Kelce. She just happens to be Travis Kelce's former lady friend. But the show is a monster, man. I just watched it. I don't have a ton of time for my Uncle season, but I do have time for one more Black History moment. I'm not sure if you guys used to dig Dick Gregory. This Black History moment showcased Dick Gregory, a revolutionary in his own right. He was an activist, a civil rights activist, comedian. Dealt with trying to help people get their health and fitness together. We had a drink called Give Me Some of That Dick Gregory. It was an actual Slim Safe Bahamian diet drink to help people lower their cholesterol and lower their blood pressure. If you've seen the movie House Party, that was that. Give Me Some of That Dick Gregory. It was an actual health drink. Aside from that, he actually ran for office. He was a controversial yet very inspiring, culturally relevant, sophisticated comic in the 60s with racial issues of the day, educating folks on why we think the way we think and why we speak the way we speak in a manner that was similar to what we're seeing with Kendrick Lamar and his lyrics. It made you think. He was, once again, an activist. Ran for political office, even ran for president on a write-in ballot. And he worked along with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Medgar Evers. Of course, arrested dozens of times for his activism. Was jailed in Birmingham, Alabama in '63. Wrote several books. I think he had a book called Nigger. And he told his mama, if you ever hear anybody saying that to me, it means they're promoting my book. So shout out to Dick Gregory, who passed away in 2017. Funny dude. You'll see him on TikTok or Instagram, and as an older guy, he would always say, "Huh? You know why Kendrick Lamar did that, right? Huh? Huh?" And he would always challenge you to think for yourself, and that was what I really appreciated about him. Do I agree with everything he said? No, but he did have a lot of insightful perspective on different topics. Elaine said there's a meme with Kawhi saying he don't want somebody that's never played. Ben Simmons. So Kawhi and Ben Simmons, two tender loves. I'm gonna be full of material when Ben Simmons gets going and Kawhi gets going. Who's gonna get hurt first? She says she needs to stop talking. Hey, Dick Gregory always spoke his mind. Absolutely. She said, what's her name? Kayla? Kayla needs to stop talking. She can't stop crying on the show either. They sent Denise Richards home. They sent Alec Baldwin home. I was like, this show is off the chain. They sending folks home. Golden Tate talking trash, got in trouble. Cam Newton talking trash, got in trouble. I was like, I can't wait to watch the episode tonight. I think the season is almost over, but I'm just late getting to it. My boy P. Ward put me on to it. It's a good program, man. All right, man. I think that's my show. Tonight's show was brought to us by, I have a new sponsor. Let's see if I can find it. It is called Game Day Skins. And it's an awesome company working with a few of our local high schools and colleges. You could change your helmets mid-season without any paint with Game Day Skins. Even for Pee Wee football, high school football, college football. If you're interested, hit up my man, Tanaka Smith, my OG from Long Beach Poly, played at UW, handling the Southern Cal region. Hit him up or text him at 562-225-9599 and see if you guys can get a new version of your helmet mid-season. And it only takes like 10 minutes to do the entire process, 60 seconds to snap it on. It's a pretty cool process. I actually have some video of how it works. Helmet skins. All right. It looks like a brand new helmet. So you take the helmet, you remove the face mask, which takes about 5 minutes. You take the skin, you place it on top of your helmet. It's made of a material that can handle contact. Stick it underneath your insoles, snap it on top of the earpiece. And then if you have multiple face masks with different colors, that adds another ounce of flavor to what you're trying to do. And it's a lot to do with like recruiting too, man. If you got fancy uniforms, kids dig that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that's worth looking at. I'm appreciative of my man Knock, and tell him T Cobb sent you, and we'll work out some type of discount. In the meantime, are you game day ready to change your uniform? And as always, this show is brought to us by All In CDL Training. Get your CDL license and get to work. They're out there hiring people if you have a CDL license. 909-708-4861. I'm talking about a career, not a job. Something where you call the shots. You determine whether you're going to be at home on weekends or you're going to be on the road. It's freedom, man. Part of what Kendrick Lamar was in them saying, taking control of your life and not being ran through this hamster wheel of debt that this government has put us in. Take control. Stop living check to check like the government wants you to do. Get out of being in the lower class of this country. Get yourself a career. All in CDO training, the future of commercial driving. And this show is also brought to you by Impact Cell. Get your joints and ligaments and blood pressure down like me. Go to impactcell.com. Get you some, feel better, get back active again. Use my promo code LIVE25 and get a 15% discount and be able to pick up some Impact Cell, producing oxygenation of equilibrium to the cell and fulvic acid. Too much rich dummy talk for me. It is the fountain of youth. Get you some. All right, man. I went over a little bit, but it's okay. I think the peopleization don't mind. All right, man. Once again, happy Black History Month. Educate yourself, man. Be open to new ideas. Learn, love, and keep learning and keep loving. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time on the AC Sports Live Show. I appreciate that, y'all. I appreciate that. The Bruin women look unbeatable, man. I told you I had a text message or messenger from a little birdie who told me they was going to be special. She played at UCLA. She's a part of the team in some capacity. Her initials, I would give them away, but she said, keep my name anonymous. I said, I'll try to do that. I will tell you she was a point guard. I shouldn't say that, but she said to me, our team is special this year. This team might be able to run it front to back. Champions. Will it be the UCLA women's first time ever national champions? Still got to get to that tournament, though. We'll see. All right, man. I appreciate all you guys. Until next time, peace and blessings. I'm out.